Alright, welcome back. So it's now 6 p.m. The dough has rested in the fridge 6 hours. Can be also a bit more, a bit less, but it's important that it has some time to develop some flavor. Alright, so now it's time for the lock-in. First of all, I will take out the butter and make it a bit more pliable by rolling over it. And once it's done, I then take out the dough, roll it to the correct size, and then combine everything with the French lock-in. And then I will also do the first fold, a double fold right away. I will do this really quickly because the most important thing is that the butter stays cold. Now we're still in winter, springtime. It's pretty cold outside right now. So it's no big issue. In summer when it's hot and inside my apartment it's 25 degrees Celsius, it is really difficult, and then I really work even faster. Today it should be fine. Alright, let's get started. So here I have the butter, really nice and cold. If I would bend it, it would just break. It's really stiff. So what I need to do now is to just unpack it or unwrap it and take it out. No, that's actually not how I usually do it. Alright, back to the start. I wrap it up again, just as it was. And then, of course, I first roll over it and then unwrap it. Alright, so just take the rolling pin and roll over it. Try to get all the spots, especially the edges as well. Just rolling over it. Not too much force, but just enough force. And then you already notice when you take it in the hands that it's becoming a little bit softer, a little bit more flexible. And now I can take it out. And now it bends nicely, it's soft. And I put it back in, I wrap it up again. I don't want it to become warm, and move it back to the fridge immediately. So now that the butter's back, I can relax also a bit. I have a dough here, and I first get a ruler again. So my butter is 17 by 20 and my dough is 17 by 32. So I need to make it longer. It needs to be 40 in length. So I will just roll it now. It's also quite important to roll it nicely, because now it has kind of like this texture. And I think it really helps to, first of all, now also get the gas out, which it just did a little bit of poofing. Also helps to flip it. Make it even thinner and also a bit more flexible before we do the lock-in. The measure should be at about 42, so I don't need any longer. If it's a little bit longer, it can be helpful to do the lock-in. So what I do now is just rolling over it without making it longer, just to really make sure the gas is out and that it's really nice and smooth on the surface. Alright, looking good. The width should be fine. 18, even a bit more, so I just make it a bit shorter or more narrow. Alright, good to go. Now I'll take out the butter, place it in the center, and then wrap the dough around it. So butter from the fridge, a little bit cooler. I'll take it out, put it on immediately. I don't want to hold it in my hands for too long. So it nicely fits, 17 on the sides. And now I'll just fold it on the sides. Works. There are some gaps on the sides, but what I will do, I will just stretch the dough on the sides, and now I also seal the edges. So basically close any gap. In the middle, I also use my fingers to just touch on the middle. It's no problem. The butter is cold, the dough is cold, so there's not much that can happen or go wrong right now. But we should work fast if possible, like as fast as we can, I think, just to make sure that that we don't risk anything because of temperature. I usually use some dusting flour so that the dough doesn't completely stick and can slide a little bit, but really just a little bit. Alright, cool. So now I'll just roll it pretty much as far as I can, but I will also try to just roll from the center outwards. And I'll just do this now. And I can really feel how I push the butter outside. Usually we'll have more butter here, it will be higher, so that's good because then you know the butter is really going all the way to the end. And it's also really important to roll, or to make sure that both, that is just straight. And we just roll it straight out. Slide it around, roll again, and that direction as well. So really, I mean, I do it as thin as possible. I'm not as thin as possible, but definitely thin, because the thinner it is now, then it doesn't. If it's thin now, it doesn't get so fat when I now fold it. So that's the lock end. I will now trim the edges just a little bit. So it's even. I mean, there's definitely butter all the way through, no problem. And now the dough is actually quite nice, but what we can do is also spray a little bit of water on the surface just to make sure that there's no flour, but we're definitely good. And now I will fold it, make the double fold, just pretty much take one side to the center, then take the other side. It is a little bit open right now, but it will be fine. And then what I usually do is to roll before I do the fold. So I roll over so the edges are nice. Now I do have some dusting flour, I can feel it, so I can clean it up, wipe it off with my hand, and then again do the fold and roll over it again so it is thin but without pressure. So that's basically it. Now I wrap it up again in the same plastic from before, and then move it into the fridge for at least half an hour so that it can cool and relax. And then we can do the single fold, which will be really easy, or should be really easy. Alright, so that dough goes back. I really don't want to hold it long in my hands, especially in summer. You know, you can literally feel the butter melting, but you know, it's fine now. So there are some trimmings that I usually, honestly, I could bake it, but I usually don't for the first trimmings, but the other trimmings I usually keep. But yeah, the best the best use for those trimmings would be to use them as a pre-ferment for the next dough. But since I'm not baking every day, yeah, there is some waste. But yeah, usually it should work. Alright, so that's basically it. So that was the lock-in and the first fold, the double fold. And then half an hour later, we will do the single fold or letter fold. Basically, yeah, a little bit simpler. And then we'll have a lot of time to relax. We will have then 1 or 2 hours where we don't have to do anything. And after that, we do the final rollout, which will take maybe 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, and then we do the freezing. So yeah, more on the schedule in detail, but that's it for the lock-in.